Hello everyone, and welcome to my Y&R Homies channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. He informs Devon and Lily at Nate's house that he met Damian and now knows the full truth. They comment on the fact that he sent someone to pose as him and speculate about his next move. Nate understands Damian's caution. He reveals that Damian is a prosperous businessman who likely encounters fraud attempts on a regular basis and isn't as depressed as they initially believed. Devon and Lily don't accept this as an excuse for him hiding his identity. In any case, they question what he has against Amy. Nate claims that he was too preoccupied with getting himself up off the ground following their revelations to become involved in it. Devon believes he is defending the man. They're watching out for him, but he admits that seeing his brother was an emotional moment and that he wanted to establish common ground. Nate is not blind. To be honest, I'm finding it difficult to accept that Damian and I are even related. Nate is unsure of what he was hoping for, perhaps a bond or something to bond over as brothers. He was furious and coiled like a tightly wrapped spring. He saw no resemblance to his father. He threw a bomb on him, Lily notes. Nate is doing his best to avoid passing judgment because of this, but Amy is devastated and saddened. Devon queries what comes next. As long as it takes to reach Damian or for him to return home, Nate will not give up. Devon would still not put his confidence in him. When Nate hears him, he's only attempting to imagine what he would do if he were Damian. The ball is in his court, according to Lily. Now it is all up to Damian. Holden sees Damian's openness. Holden asks Damian if he's all right on the terrace of Crimson Lights. Learning that all he had known up until this point was a lie was difficult, he claims. He ought to have just disregarded Nate Hastings' proposal. I became overly interested. I simply had to find out what the man was doing. Then I learned that my mother is dying and that he is my brother. Furthermore, his father wasn't his father. How is he going to get over this and go on? He ought to have remained in Los Angeles. It's too late now. For pressuring him to visit Amy, Holden feels bad. He was correct to inform him that his mother was ill, Damian assures him. With everything else that was thrown at him, he hasn't even had time to come to terms with the fact that she has been diagnosed. Damian remembers how close he was to his mother in the past. However, she also concealed the secret from his father. How could she have harmed us like that? People get caught up and make mistakes, Holden adds. Damian is almost relieved that his father isn't here to see this. He would have been devastated. Damian claims that he wouldn't have cared. Holden believes that because she loves him, she wants him to know. Perhaps she didn't tell him at the time because she understood how much Jackson meant to him, but he's gone now, and it seems like she won't have much time left. She doesn't want you to be left all by yourself, and she doesn't want to die with this lie on her conscience. Damian claims that when his mother leaves, he will remain alone. You now have a brother, Holden adds. Whatever that means, Nyan snarks. Other than a lot of queries, he has nothing at the moment. Holden believes his mum might have the answers. This may be his final opportunity if she is indeed as ill as they claim. Damian thinks, yes. He comments on how significant and agonizing this is. He has to give it some thought. Holden points out that they already have enough issues in Los Angeles without having to deal with this. Both of them are adept at blocking out the past, perhaps they ought to ignore it and go on. Damian claims that he has a large amount of work ahead of him. Holden notes that they might not have the money to hang around and see what occurs because of all the flames they have to put out back home. You must make this call. Damian believes he could be correct. We leave Genoa City, forget this ever happened, and don't look back. The calls of Phyllis reach Billy. Billy paces with his phone in the Paris flat before making a call. He hears Phyllis' voicemails pleading with him to give her a call back. He chooses to summon the redhead after initially glancing towards the other room. When Phyllis answers Billy's call at the Genoa City Park, she exclaims, "At last. I was starting to fear that you might ignore me indefinitely." Sally hears in the Paris flat Billy tells Phyllis that it's difficult to ignore her. Billy informs Phyllis that it is late and that they are in a different time zone. She sent him 15 texts. Phyllis has some amazing news. Abbott Communications is the new employer that Daniel has chosen. Although Billy is pleased to hear this, he made it clear to her that it could wait. He acknowledges that she was the main reason he took Daniel on. He will be a great asset to the business, she believes. Billy is certain that she is correct, but what part will he play? He's working hard on new ideas, according to Phyllis. He'll shine once they find it out. Billy is pleased with the team's unity. Phyllis is extremely relieved that he isn't taking advantage of this chance to target Chancellor or Victor. We must begin with a blank slate. Billy responds thoughtfully, I couldn't agree more. Sally comes up behind Billy, but Phyllis wants to discuss business. He hangs up after telling her they can chat when he returns. Billy informs Sally that in order to clear things up, he contacted Phyllis back. She can be persistent, Sally says. Why was it so crucial? There's nothing that matters to me right now, Billy says. Phyllis talks to herself about Sally and Billy in the park, hoping he won't make a mistake. They cannot afford to fail again. Nick shows up and says, hey, bad news. Could she possibly make it home without him? Phyllis asks where his breakfast date is. She always manages to get a dig in, Nick quips sarcastically. Sharon is described by Phyllis as a delicate flower. She doesn't seem good, says Nick as he sits down. Something is causing Phyllis to become frustrated. However, she finds happiness in something. At last, she persuaded her son to join her and Billy at his new business. Nick asks if she and Billy are teaming up again. She says they never stopped, it just looked like it because Heather was murdered and her son was framed by Sharon. Nick grunts, another dig. Nice. Phyllis is happy her son's life is finally going to get back on track. Nick asks what the new business is exactly. At Crimson Lights, Phyllis and Nick continue discussing about her and Billy working together again. He learns Abbott Chancellor is a media firm. Phyllis claims they have funds and are ready to start. She wants him to keep it quiet. Nick assures her she can trust him. He wonders what Daniel's involvement in this is, and she answers he's a creative genius. He'll be an asset to the firm. Nick hopes things works well for them. Phyllis smirks, how neutral of you. Nick says he's being real, but her track record dealing with Billy isn't the finest. He fired her when Jill asks. Phyllis questions whether he's attempting to ruin this. All Nick is doing is reminding her that Billy is more concerned with Billy than with her. He blows stuff up all the time. That is not what occurred at Abbott Chancellor, according to Phyllis. Jill chose to work with his father to pull a fast one on Billy because Lily was attempting to discredit him. She is certain that his parents, who pushed Lily aside, gave him a different account. It was Jill's firm, but Nick told them that he didn't like it. Phyllis admits she sold her son out, and she thinks it's great that Billy isn't pursuing them for retribution. She says he's not doing that, but Nick doesn't believe her. I simply believe that I would wait to purchase all those brand new business cards if I were you. After his mother has held these secrets for so long, Damian concludes on the terrace of the coffee shop that he owes her nothing. Why ought he to remain? Whatever he chooses, Holden has his back. You are the only true friend I have ever had, says Damian, who is appreciative.